Hello friends, how are you today? Thank you so much for being here with me today. My name is Sarah. I love books and reading. I get most of my books secondhand. I don't usually keep up with the newest releases, although I'm not uninterested, I just haven't. By the way, all the books that I talk about will be linked in the description, and that is an affiliate link, so if you buy anything through those links, I will get a cut of that, of what you spend. The book I want to talk to you about today is Sari of the Gods by G.S. Sharat Chandra. This should have been in my thrift store haul video and it got left out. And that's not going to be the last mistake I make. Sorry, that's how it is. I thought this looked interesting. I picked it up, you see the binding first, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting title. And you open it up, pull it out of the shelf, and you see the woman in the sari. Okay, that's pretty. Not the most amazing cover ever, but then when I looked at the back, it describes that the book is about Indians who have immigrated to the States, and Indians who, it's about Indian life of Indians. And I didn't realize until I got home, because I didn't read the entire synopsis and the author profile and all of that. I just kind of glanced at it enough to say, this book isn't too expensive, I'm going to grab it. After I got home, I read the author profile. G.S. Sharat Chandra, a University of Missouri Kansas City professor of English and 1993 Pulitzer Prize nominee in poetry for Family of Mirrors, has received international recognition for both his poetry and his fiction. That was exciting to me because I got my English degree from University of Kansas City, Missouri, UMKC. But I don't know this guy. So when I looked him up online, unfortunately, he died in the year 2000. He was born in 1935, died in 2000. It's a pretty good long life, but still, it's sad that I didn't get to know this guy when I was at UMKC. It sounds like he would have been a good professor and an interesting person to know. The book is divided in three parts. I just held up two fingers. It's three parts. The first part is titled Here, and it's stories about Indians who have immigrated to the U.S. The stories are set in the U.S. They deal with questions like, one of the characters gets bullied a lot for being Indian, for wearing Indian clothing and Indian jewelry, and some of the other characters are, they deal a lot with trying to decide whether they want to assimilate into the U.S., how much they want to, whether, some of them don't want to at all. So it's a very fascinating look. They're not all the same. The characters are different from each other. The second section, which is the longest section, is titled There, and it is stories that occur in India. I think mostly involve people who have not left India, but who have just lived there. And there's some very entertaining stories here. Some of them are very introspective, like the stories in the section titled Here. But some of them are much more, they're almost like retellings of folk tales where there's a trickster character, or people getting one over on each other, but not necessarily in a mean way. And it was a very entertaining to read those as well. I love to learn about cultures other than my own, and really enjoyed those stories. The third section and last section is titled Neither Here Nor There, and it is mostly stories about characters who have left India, lived somewhere else for some time, and then come back. Not all of them have lived in the US. There was a man who lived in Scotland. I think some had been in, I don't remember exactly, but they weren't all US. They hadn't all been in the US. They'd been in other places as well. Excuse me. There is a range of characters: men, women, rich, poor, middle class. Some of them are even probably not totally sane. One of the stories is written in more of a stream of consciousness style than a straight narration. and it's not always entirely clear what's happening. Maybe the narrator is insane. There might be a murder, not quite sure what's going on. Most of them are much more straightforward. They're all really well written. I think my favorite story is the last one in the book, in which an Indian man who has been in the States, who has married someone in the States, I don't know if it was an Indian woman or an American woman, and has children there. He's visiting India again, and because he understands the culture, speaks the language and everything, he's able to pass as Indian when he goes to a fortune teller who tells him all about this Indian life that he's going to have. He's going to marry a woman of a particular caste and have so many children of whatever gender, etc. And that's not what his life is actually like. And so he spends a good bit of time imagining what his life would be like if he had not left India, if he had not married a woman in the US instead of someone in India, if he had stayed there and lived his life there. It was a really, really beautiful meditation on how we make choices and they impact the rest of our lives. Overall, in any kind of collection of stories or poetry, there are going to be some selections that you love, some selections you don't care for so much, maybe some you hate. There weren't any in here that I hated. There are definitely some I liked more than others, but overall, this is just a really, really beautiful book. I highly recommend it for anyone who enjoys literary fiction or short stories or learning about other cultures other than your own, especially if you're interested in learning about India and Indian people. It's just a really, really, really beautiful book. Highly recommend. Let me know. Have you read this book? Have you read another one like it? What do you think? Do you have any other recommendations along these lines or completely different? I'm open to anything. Let me know. Thank you again for being here so much. Thank you. You guys have a great day.